Nice.
Thanks, everyone. There are we got some treats out in the kitchen, so please try it out. I'll tell you more about that company once we get towards the end of things. But thank you for being here. Want to welcome our newcomers. Do we have any in the room? No. So yeah, a couple of them. Pretty excited about that. Are already jumping into real estate and writing offers. That was me and Kevin were having to help on, which I didn't mind obviously, but it was sitting out in my parents' pool on Father's Day, having to help agents write offers. Which I mean, I don't mind at all, but it was pretty cool because most agents, their first 5 days, you don't really typically don't have an offer to write. So it's pretty cool to see that. Who's got some bucket fills other than Mr. Council? Now, what do you got, Mike? Bucket wins, fills.
This is not kissing butt, but Brian, this is for you, who's jumping out for the golf outing that we're planning, because Tammy did so amazing job last year. I'm like, oh my gosh, how are we gonna get this thing off the ground? And you jumped into it, and on top of being a team leader, you're doing an amazing job. We're gonna crush the golf outing.
That was a side bucket fill for Tammy.
What?
That was a side bucket fill for you. You got a little, you did a great job.
Well, I'm seeing all your spreadsheets, so I can already see what you've done over the last 2 years on it. They're printed, they're all over my desk. I'm like, where do I go now?
You want a chair?
No, thank you, Mike.
Hey,
Appreciate that.
you want a chair?
Greg, do you have a win?
Actually, not a win, but a bucket fill for Kevin. Oh, he's on the phone. Anyway,
Hopefully it's an agent
just
right now.
I mean, I used to kid him because before he became broker, I mean, I've been here, I think it's 14 years. He's been here about the same, and I would call him, and he never answered my calls. As a broker, I mean, it's amazing. He will answer my call on the weekends, and so I see it's not me that he's answering it for. It's just because he's broker, and that's his responsibility. But anyway, I mean, he's just always available, and it's an overwhelming job. We've got 200 plus agents, almost 300 agents, and I just think he does an incredible job.
There you go, Kevin.
Wherever you are.
Yeah.
Well, since you just got done talking, I'll give you a shout out. So let's make sure I say it right because you keep correcting me. Greg is now our KW Luxury liaison. I keep calling him ambassador, but he's not there yet. That's the regional ambassador part, which he will end up getting. But now KW Luxury liaison for
the market center.
For our market center. So yeah, anything you guys have any questions on or wanna help in any way with KW Luxury, Greg's your guy to see.
And there'll be regular educational / informational meetings, presentations, most likely on a monthly basis. So basically they picked, Luxury International picked 35 markets to start this in, and we're fortunate enough to be picked as one of them. And we're all coordinating on a monthly basis and pretty much kind of rolling out the same thing in all the markets that we're in. So it'll be a pretty organized, as much as organized as I can get. But just stay tuned, and I'll be communicating it probably mostly through the Facebook, our Facebook page, our group. So.
Congratulations. Who else?
Oh, and quickly, I'm sorry. It's basically, my intent for it is for those who ever were curious about it or wanted to, it's basically for you to get a foot in to what direction do I need to go if I would like to pursue luxury. So.
And just so you're aware, to actually qualify for KW Luxury in 24 months, you need to sell 4 homes, $700K or above. So I mean, nothing crazy. Any other wins?
Bought my
Bucket
first
fills?
investment property.
What's that?
Bought my first investment.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Flip, rental, what are we doing?
Rental property.
Okay.
Yeah. Seller signing today. I'm signing tomorrow.
That's fantastic. So long-term rental you're doing?
Yeah. Till
Residential?
Yeah. Well, it is residential, but it's labeled as student housing. It's by Central Michigan,
Okay.
so it's like.
Oh, so you went over to Mount Pleasant.
Yeah.
There you
Been
go.
there a lot in the last
Stopped at
couple
Soaring
months.
Eagle on your way home? Or?
Maybe gamble to run money.
Yeah,
No, we
that's
really
awesome.
walk out of the porch. You can see the campus right there, so it's gonna be pretty high.
That's
high rent
really cool. And
good
I can't
numbers.
remember, have you been to the investment classes?
Yeah, a couple
Okay.
of them.
Okay, I know that's what really pushed me to get into that, because I went to that first class, and I always say it, like, I walked in and we're at the first investment class, and I'm like, it's like a foreign language to me. I don't even know what these people are talking about or what they're saying.
Yeah.
Now being in it for a year and having 2 flips under our belt, you know, I'm like, now this makes sense. I know what they're talking about.
Right.
You know,
It's just weird looking
pretty
at the
cool.
numbers because they're like you're not adding too much every month. I mean, it's not a huge. Like you can't change your life with one property. But
Yeah.
you start stacking them up. You're like, wait, if I had like 10 or 15 of these boys, you know.
Yeah, well, that's the start.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the first building block right there.
Yeah.
Which is funny. I'll get into that during my my reading rainbow moment. Building blocks and Legos.
Perfect.
Anyone else? Any bucket? I always talk bucket list too. Anybody cross anything off their bucket list?
Bought a kayak.
I love kayaking. Dude, me and the wife.
That's my bucket list.
Yeah, that's awesome. I wanted a boat. I settled for a kayak.
Sounds a bit more for
It's,
us.
it's kind of like your first investment property,
Yeah.
the kayak.
Oh, speaking of that, so the majority of the books I read this last month, because I think I read 4. Most of them were on leadership, so that really wasn't what I wanted to bring back. Even though the one, so I had mentioned Energy Bus, the No Complaining Rule. So that's like one of my favorite authors now. His name's John Gordon. The one I just read of his was You Win with the Locker Room First. So it was actually him and the Atlanta Falcons head coach did this book, which I like because they jump between, you know, one talking and the other, and what he was doing in the NFL with, you know, his team. And he actually handed out the Energy Bus as one thing to all of the players, and created like that was his Energy Bus, and if not, you're off, you know, because it was all about, wasn't about always having the best player, but it was somebody who fits your culture. And that's, if you guys haven't realized, that's what I dig into a lot here at Keller Williams, is our culture and who we are as people. This is a fantastic place to work. I came from over a decade in the car business. That should tell it all right there. It was everybody about themselves, and what to do next for yourself. It was never about, you know, the overall team or the overall, you know, picture. So that one really dug into, you know, really what to bring back to you guys essentially, and how to be a better leader when it comes to, you know, leading everyone else. So that's, you know, the term, you know, win the locker room first. But I just started Mel Robbins' newest book. What the heck's the name? I don't even know the name of it. I'm only 2 hours into a 10-hour. Take Control of Your Life, which if you hadn't listened to or read one of her books before, the Audible is fantastic because she's like full character, says exactly what she's thinking. But this one, she's going through like interviews with people, and the one that I've heard so far was the guy was a PE teacher, he's got a wife, he's got kids, his life is great, but he just always feels like there's something missing. And come to find out, he wants to own like his own little coffee shop. So in my head, I'm like, well, me and my wife, we kind of want to own like a donut shop. Some people know my love for donuts. And it's really like when you start, you get the fear, like you have this big goal that you want to do, and then you think about it and break it down so much that then fear starts setting in, so you don't get started on that because you're figuring out the big picture type of thing. And she kept bringing up Legos and building blocks. It made me and my son do a lot of Legos, and it made me think like if I had the Millennium Falcon Lego set, which is probably like 10,000 pieces. Like, okay, if I was thinking of it that way, where you just have all the pieces out in front of you, you're trying to put this damn thing together, you're like, okay, I don't even know where to start. So I can see where she was getting at with that, but you do it just like Legos. You do one block at a time. Legos, you open the first pack and it's labeled 1 through 5, so you start on 1. This is where you get started, then you move on to the next, and move on to the next, and move on to the next. So it's really thinking about that fear and over analyzing that big idea, and how to get there. So you just break it down in small steps at a time in order to get there. So that's the one I recommend. Mel Robbins, Take Control of Your Life, because she's fantastic. If you haven't read any of her books before, read the other ones. But who's read a good book recently? I need some recommendations. A lot of readers here. Anyone? No?
As a Man Thinketh. Oh, sorry. As a Man Thinketh, James Allen. It's an old
Okay.
book. It's about 100 years old. But,
Yeah. Yeah.
Short read, get it done in a night, but really that.
Right
If you want a really good short read, I think it's called Y Squared. Like Y with the power sign.
Yeah.
It kind of talks a lot about what we do, but looking at it from an analytical and non-emotional standpoint.
Okay.
Literally just the actual art of sales from an analytic standpoint, not the relational standpoint. So just kind of,
Right
we
on.
always talk about relational, but there is another element to what we do, and it just helps you dial into looking and tracking some of those things. I thought it was pretty interesting.
Cool. Would you?
Anything by Brad Stulberg, but like the art of groundedness
Okay.
is amazing. This stuff is, to me, is kind of like just back to the basics every day.
Yeah.
Just,
For sure.
but mindset wise, it's really good.
I did read Think and Grow Rich, and I started taking notes on it, and I was like, this whole entire damn book is a note. So if you haven't read or listened, that was like a 12-hour listen. I listened to it twice this last month through. The whole thing is like a note. You can literally put in pieces of that entire book into your life. That was one of the books before that last month that I read. The gentleman who was in an interview on one of the books, he carried around Think and Grow Rich for 9 years and read it for 9 years straight because of how much stuff you implement in your life at a certain point in time. So yeah.
Wasn't
Yeah,
that
that was a
written
really
like
good
the
one.
30s too?
Yeah, that's what made me think when he said 100 years. I'm like, I think Think and Grow Rich was like 100 years old.
That is an incredible book.
It is.
Yeah, I've read it 3 or 4 times. I recently finished, this might sound boring, the book on advanced tax strategies for the savvy real estate investor.
Does sound boring, but I'm sure you learned a lot from it.
There's a lot to learn in there. So we're all real estate agents, and because we are in the real estate industry, we get tax deductions that some of our accountants may not be taking advantage of or may not know about. So you guys should definitely get a couple books on tax strategies.
I need the cliff notes.
Yeah, so like one of them's a qualified business deduction. So because we are in real estate, the top 20% of our taxable income we actually don't pay taxes on. And a lot of accountants don't even know that we can take that deduction.
I think this sounds like a good class.
I think it does.
Yeah.
You're gonna teach it.
What was the name of the
So there's 2 books. The first book
Wow.
is the book on tax strategies
Oh, wow.
for the savvy real estate investor, and the second book is the book on advanced tax strategies for the savvy real estate investors. It's by Amanda Hahn
You're an
and
investor
Matthew
now.
McFarland.
Now I am wearing a couple hats.
That's awesome.
It's actually very easy to read. It's not difficult.
Yes, it's only 5 hours on an audiobook. Looks like a short book.
It's not that long. No.
Yeah, super short.
It's funny, that's how I always go off of it. I go to see how long the book
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
how long
5
it is.
hours
I'm
read?
like, okay, am I gonna buy it or am I just going to do it on Audible?
Dude, get Spotify
And
Premium.
yeah, 5
It's got
hours,
every
that's not
audiobook.
terrible.
Spotify Premium has every audiobook under the sun, including like everything Mel Robbins writes, everything, for free.
On what?
Spotify Premium.
Where's my buddy at?
Yeah,
He
that's
was
what I was
just telling me
telling you.
about
Yeah,
that.
like,
Yeah,
every
he was
audiobook.
just telling me
Still
about
on
that.
Pandora, dude.
Yeah.
2024.
I got a 20-year-old checking me every left and right. This is when I started
You
realizing.
sound like my
all
daughter.
right.
Dad, why are you on Pandora?
Man. It's funny, I think I told him when me and Kristen first started dating, it was MySpace. Facebook wasn't even out yet. Well, for college students it was, but not for everyone else.
I'm reading, I'm in the middle of Building a Non-Anxious Life by Dr. Don Maloney, and holy moly, is that book amazing. It's like real life strategies, and it's been really awesome.
It's cool. That's like one time I told Joe, like I was breaking down, like I had it into, okay, so January, February, I'm gonna read like books about habits. And then when I start going and I'm like, well, that's not really what I need in my life at this point. Like I need some motivation. So then I flipped to a motivation book. You know, so there's always those books that come into place when you need them to. You know, so I couldn't break it down each month into a certain topic, is what I realized.
Oh, and non-anxious, I thought you said non-interest.
Non-anxious, like he's
Not
a,
anxious, yeah.
he's a psychologist, and it's very, very good.
Have you been less anxious?
Yes, actually. Using some of the
She's anxious to
strategies,
read a
they've been
book.
very nice.
Cool, thank you. Lots of cappers. Who we got? Mr. Cosman. Congratulations, sir. Susan was here earlier. I don't know if Susan's here still. But yeah, Michael Allen, Cosman, Susan, Josephine, Maribel, Miss Anthony. I didn't see you over that corner. Ness, David, Pam Owen, and Lee Woods. Congratulations to all of you. What'd you focus on?
Sphere.
Recently so far.
Sphere.
Huh?
Sphere.
Spear?
Yeah.
First I thought you said steer.
I
was
did
like,
too.
what? I was like, I don't know. I didn't know that one.
All
The
beef.
sphere, Anthony?
Joe really harps on this, but consistency. When I got into this business, it was a completely different way of running a business as opposed to running a home remodeling business and service. So it took me a little bit longer than I probably would have wanted to get dialed into like how to be effective day to day, not just spend 8 to 10 hours doing real estate, but how to make that money making initiatives. And it's really just showing up every day. I mean, we have the blessing and the curse of being our own judges in that regard. Like, are you gonna wake up? Are you gonna hit the snooze button? Are you gonna follow up? Are you gonna yawn in and take that day in and take your day off? So the more I've just dialed in and focused on the daily tasks, the more it's come full fruition. So I don't think there's any secret. Just amplify what you're doing and dial in the quality that you're putting into it. And it could take a day, a month, or a couple months, but it's going to show its face if you do that every day.
Yeah, oh, for sure. And that's like, I think it was last month I had said, you know, some people give up too quickly, like 3 inches before they reach goal. So just keep doing the activities, put in the work, for sure. Top producers. Who is the sphere guy? Emer, Chris Mayer, Michael Cosman, our liaison, and Susan. Congratulations.
It's in
Okay.
metric.
I just
This is
noticed that.
blended
I
in
just
metric
noticed that.
style.
Nothing. All good. You're all
Misspelled my
good.
name?
No. Your amount was wrong underneath.
Cosmic.
Yeah. Sold $1.62.
Guys,
We went to put 1.62 million, but in network, fire team, real estate partners, Delia Group, and Bellinger Agency. Great job. All right. Did we even hand out tickets? I don't know if we did. Duck, duck, goose.
You're the newest person to join us.
I joined last week.
Lily,
Alright.
you get to come up and spin the wheel.
There's prizes on it. Ryan hugs at the
Hunt
bus.
for Ryan.
Especially if you won the wine week.
It just says hug, is that always?
Yeah, you just spin it. Yeah.
The hug always for Ryan? Is that a different hug for other people?
It depends on what day we're doing. Yeah, could be you.
Awesome.
2 appointments, one of those hugs, I swear.
What's the, I like that, good idea, you gotta think of another one.
Who's been here the longest?
Who's been here the longest?
Leith?
That's
Greg or Lee?
Lath or Greg?
No, Leith.
Lath, get up here, I wanna.
What do you want me to do?
Spin
No,
the
you-
wheel.
Has to bring Ryan in.
or something. Trying to show my age or something?
I didn't say it, she did. I looked at Greg.
Age, yes.
Thank you.
Who's what?
Next closest birthday.
No.
Mine's the 29th.
Anyone beat the 29th?
No, Lacey.
You're the next contestant.
Wait.
Wine. It's over the cabinet. Yeah, to the right one.
No, I emptied it.
No, there used to be. There was batteries in it before, where it would weigh it down.
You don't love wine?
Oh, you didn't respin, you don't drink?
Nope, I do not.
Oh, she's taking the respin.
We got one of them.
No wonder you're so
These
anxious.
clients will hand out.
It's gonna be wine again.
Yeah, I didn't know you didn't drink that.
That parking pass for a month would be nice.
Oh.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good win.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's a really good parking pass for a month.
It's
Yeah. You don't have to hurry up and get one of them free parking spots like I do.
Or pay for parking.
Yeah, that's
Or get a ticket.
Wow, finally that one hit.
And truly
Still
gets
Dunkin'
one.
Donuts hasn't hit. Yeah.
Waiting for you to spin it.
Oh, well, we would have had to take it to Valerie Garcia. I guess I gotta take that one off since that's gone.
NCA Choice.
Happy birthday.
I'm with Josh for doing his paid ads class and teaching me all how to do paid ads.
You pay for them too?
First month.
That would be a good prize, the free paid ads.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
Oh,
Yay, you win. No, go spin again, man.
Spin again.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just have to come here for a month.
The budget's blown.
Reweight the wheel.
Oh,
I think it
no, no, no.
Nope.
Back that far.
Oh, do you have one? You do have one?
Yeah.
Get the heck out of here.
Yeah.
Spin it again.
What did that even say?
It's I'm already in.
Oh, no. Yeah. Next, you're just getting winner's
What
choice.
about coffee with
Yeah.
Brian? Aw.
Oh my God. Winner's choice. What do you want?
Thank you, donuts.
Donuts?
Yeah.
Yeah, donuts at one.
Alright guys, I wanna show
Yes,
you
I'll
this
take
new
the
feature that's in Command right now. So when you're in your opportunities and you see anything, see how the purchase agreement is underlined, that means there's a sample of a contract in there. So I clicked on that link and it's gonna show you a sample of how to fill out a purchase agreement. So we're working on all of our forms, but I wanted to show you guys that those are in there now.
Nice.
Hey, can you, is it okay to submit a listing? Cause instead of doing a listing form, I just print out the listing itself and have them sign that.
Perfect.
Is it okay though to submit the listing prior to having that and then just add that and then resubmit it? Or do you
Yeah,
want?
as long as you know you're gonna get kicked back. They're gonna say you're missing that if you submit
Oh,
without
right,
it.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
fine.
That's fine.
When did the notice of buyer's agency become a required document, and is that required on previous, or is that something that's new?
New and haven't.
Oh, okay.
Say that question again?
I just noticed as I scrolled to the bottom of Command yesterday that the notice of buyer's agency is now a required document. When is that retroactive or for everything going forward?
I know.
Let's go back through the thousands of deals you guys have done and retroactive it. No,
Yeah. That just got put in there recently. But going forward, get it in there, put it in there.
Yeah,
Let's be
that's
upfront. There's gonna be a lot of changes coming as we get towards the fall here, and we're gonna I'm getting a lot of questions on that. So I guess I encourage everybody to hang in there. There's things that are still moving parts in that whole settlement and that, but we'll have something, we're gonna get everybody up to speed on that. But yeah, I would definitely be, we send it out on all ours. I mean, we put it right on notice, so we make it clear.
Ours have been getting kickback, we do a lot of the new construction and we would never prior have gotten a buyer's agency disclosure. But I have not gotten any real pushback from anyone
Yeah.
who's trying to get that.
Most of them, they're probably thinking, oh, this is new because even though it's been there forever.
Yeah.
But just with everything going on, so, but yeah, I would say get in there. Today I just wanna bring up deposits. I know you guys probably all say, oh, but again, but we're gonna talk about a little different strategy with when we get a deposit, okay? what I've been seeing a lot, and I've had a lot of problems when you get into a situation where the deal goes south, you know. We need to be careful how we're approaching our clients, especially when you're listing the property, how we're breaking this down for our seller. You know, I just had a recent situation where one of our people said, hey, we're going after that deposit, and they made some claims to their client. And when we get into a dispute over deposit, if we don't get that mutual release, there's only one way we can release it, is if we get a mutual release with the seller and the buyer. The parties of that contract both sign that mutual release to tell where that deposit goes. If that doesn't happen, we can't release the deposit. And what happens is if you're overconfident with that situation with your client, that client's gonna expect you to get him that deposit. Well, we have no way of doing that. It has to go either get an attorney, go before, most people go to small claims court, depending on the size of the deposit. But it can really cause a problem, and then it messes up yourself with your client for future deals, and it's just not good. So you need to really go into them explaining, and this is what we do to our clients. We say, listen, it's a legal binding contract. I'm gonna look after your best interest. I'm gonna do everything I can to protect you when I'm listing the property. And when we sell it, we're gonna make sure the agreement looks good, and there's gonna be a deposit. It's a legal binding contract. You will have legal remedies, just like the buyer will. But in reality, if that deal goes south and that deposit's on the line and we're not agreeing, it's hard to get. I mean, you can get it, but it's hard. And I will tell you that we are seeing many of these cases go to small claims court, and I'm shocked. I'm shocked how many of the judges are awarding untraditionally what they would in the past. And what I mean by that is if you've got a good paper trail of that transaction and what transpired, and you get into one of them situations, that's the thing that judge is gonna look at. He's gonna look at the contract, he's gonna look at the paper trail, and then he's gonna make a decision. So just really make sure you're approaching this with your client ahead of time. Because when it happens, it's too late. They don't care, they want the deposit because they're mad their deal didn't go through. They felt like they've got damages, and in some cases, rightfully so, they do. You know, they could have got maybe a different contract that they missed. So I get why they want it, but it's hard to get. It's just really hard to get that deposit. So make sure you're doing a good job breaking it down, explaining it. We go over this in our class, contracts and forms. We spend some time on that. But if you got any more questions on this afterward, feel free to reach out to me. But
Yeah, and Kev?
Yeah.
One thing I tell my clients is that there's 3 ways that we as a brokerage can release an EMD. Consummation of the deal, signature of both parties, or court order. So,
Yep.
you know,
That's it.
knowing that going in,
We can't
that
agree.
we can't just hand you the money because they defaulted on, in your estimation, they defaulted on the deal.
Yep. And what's interesting too is there's a lot of agents and seller buyers going after the deposits. They're going after it. There's a lot more tenacity these days, I feel like, than I've seen in the past. So that's why I wanted to bring it up. Be on guard, educate your buyers and your sellers, make sure they understand how it works. Okay.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Collab Title. This is our in-house title company. If you have not used them yet, please give them a try. One bonus of using them, they will send out just sold postcards on your behalf. So if you have one side, they will send 50 cards. If you have both sides, then if you have both sides of the title, then they'll send 100 cards on your behalf. Has anyone had this done for them? And what are you seeing? Have you gotten any feedback from it?
So what's really nice too, Joe just posted this in our Facebook group, but you also will get return to senders, and a lot of them will notify whether it was a wrong address number or phone number, but I also got a lot that said vacant home. So I'm gonna peel that off, look at the address, pull up that phone number and call and say, what are you doing with this property? So that gave me about 30 dials I can make to try to get a couple new pieces of business, maybe for my investors. if you contact them quickly, you can actually change some of the language on there as well. If there's something you want to showcase specifically, whether it was over asking, etc. But I haven't gotten any callbacks, but I just had my first one go through. So what got returned is going to be what I try to generate phone numbers for to call back as well. But they will hit. And if you want to change the area, let's say the back half of the subdivision was better, if you produce them a list, they'll send them out as well. So. And they look nice. If you guys want, I can grab one so you can see it in person.
I was gonna say, if you don't have a relationship with a title company, I mean, why not get some free advertising for yourself out of it? You know what I mean?
You guys can pass it around if you want. This is what they look like.
Anyone else have my money?
Don't do it. We're still in the lead. Good Company's trying to catch us, but you guys are still putting in the work, and I think we had, 147 listings last month, so great job. You guys are obviously putting in the work and doing your thing out there, because we're still number one. Even after we've added all ass properties and everything else, we've updated it and we're still winning, so keep up the good work. Mega Agent Camp is, thank you, August 12th through the 15th in Texas. I was never at Mega Camp.
I love Mega Camp.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know my wife loved Mega Camp. It's like, it's not as big as Family Reunion, but the content and the information and what you can get from Mega Camp, just like Family Reunion, is still there.
Plus, if you've never been in Austin in August, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey,
is it, what's the difference right now, right? Probably
If you like
20
Austin, you're
degrees.
gonna wanna go this year because, after this year, it won't be there for 5 years.
Oh, is that right?
They're gonna tear down the, convention center, so we'll be end up having to go to like Houston or San Antonio, somewhere close, during like, most for,
Yeah.
You would.
Okay. Yeah, register today. QR code will get you there. Again, tons of information, tons of content, and things that you can get from going to Mega Camp.
If you don't have your website set up, come to my class next Tuesday from 1 to 2 in the Troy office. Bring your laptop and we will customize your website.
Investment class is, I know Joe was looking for a topic he was gonna do this month. I know we were throwing some things around, but I believe that this next investment class is going to be all of us kind of having like, almost like a mastermind together on what you're doing, what you're coming across. At least that's what I believe his goal is. Joe can change things on a flip of a dime, but that's what we're looking at now. So investment class, the 26th, Wednesday in Troy. Let's keep filling it up, because there's always people spilling into the hallway at that class. Don't forget, Client Appreciation Picnic, Saturday, August 3rd, JC Park, same one if you were with us last year, same park. Last year Lacey did a great job with the kids, keeping them entertained, having prizes and events and everything for them. This year she's going to be doing, it's Minute to Win It, yeah.
Minute to Win It, and there's gonna be an adult and kid, so.
Explain what Minute to Win It is.
Okay, so if anybody has not seen the show.
You don't know?
Oh, yeah, if you haven't seen the show, go on Facebook or on YouTube or anything like that and just look it up. It's absolutely awesome. But it's games or events that are going to be, you're going to have a minute to complete. And so we're going to kind of, how I figured it out is that I'm going to have increasingly harder minute competitions. And so everybody will start out doing the first one, and there'll be ones geared towards kids, and then there's going to be some geared, so I'm going to probably do it 15, 16 and above. So it's going to be 15 and above in that group, and they're going to just have increasingly harder till we get a winner. I have planned out probably 10 different ones, but if we get to the top one, that'll be surprising to me.
You gotta do the tissue box with the ping pong balls.
That is on the list of what you're going to do. So we've got some pretty fun ones coming up, and then the kids are gonna have, there's gonna be one specifically geared towards, little munchkins, so that we can make it fair, and then there are gonna be, winners and prizes, so.
So Tammy, like there's one, we used to do this, we always did games for like my family's Christmas, so my uncle started doing like Minute to Win It. One where you gotta take chopsticks and pick up Skittles, and you gotta pick up so many to put in a cup within a minute. The one I was talking about, because it's hilarious, it's like a tissue box on a belt that has like say 5 ping pong balls in there. You put on the belt, and then you have to get the ping pong balls out of the tissue box in a minute.
Also,
So certain things like that.
Really quick, if you guys can just pay attention to the Facebook group, because there are some, to keep costs lower, and so we don't have to buy a lot of stuff, I am gonna be asking for you guys, like, empty Kleenex boxes, things like that, anything, there's gonna be, like, certain things that I'm gonna need, you to potentially be on the lookout, so when you finish a tissue box, please keep it, that's one of them, so if you could, just be on the lookout for those messages in Facebook, in the office Facebook page, because I will need certain things like that. My family just, well, the way my son's allergies are going, we may have enough at my house, but I may need some Kleenex boxes and things like that. So.
And for
For
those
the
of
long
you,
ones or the square? Because we're square.
The long one.
Long ones.
okay.
The squares are not gonna work. That'll be kind of that won't work.
It
But
depends how big your butt is.
And for those of you who are new and don't know what this client appreciation event is, so essentially it's a client event that you can sign up for, and the office puts it together for you, and you are then calling your clients and inviting them to your event. Hey, I'm having this barbecue for my clients, please come, I wanna show your appreciation to them. So it's one of those things that you can leverage us to help with your clients. And if you're a brand new agent, you can still sign up and invite your friends, your family, your sphere, that kind of thing.
Food truck, this year kickball, which I'm so mad I'm not gonna be able to make it. So I'll be at the Man City Chelsea game in Ohio that day. But kickball, Minute to Win It, food truck. Our leader dog is gonna be there again this year.
No, but we
Okay.
are doing a food drive. So as you're calling your database, you're letting them know about the picnic and letting them know about, hey, we're collecting food for a local food pantry for them to bring something as well.
Golf event. We have sponsors rolling in. Always need more. The one that we started doing after picking, so Dane and Central and In-Network aren't doing their own golf event this year. So I was picking his brain on what to do. So the main one that we need, because it's really hard to go to a business and say, hey, give me a basket of stuff that I need for free so I can then raffle it off. We created one where you can be a whole sponsor, and then they can donate to a gift basket. So it's $250. It's 125 goes to your sponsor of the whole, and then the other 125 goes to the gift basket. So not only will they be advertised on a whole, they will then get announced when we're raffling off the gift basket. So Real Estate Partners donated this basket. On behalf of them, we are.
I would if you changed the date to the 26th.
I know. Wasn't on me.
Sorry. I'm not gonna be here. So.
Oh, jeez.
And then, yeah, that's you. We have announced, so Amanda Dryden is going to be our assistant team leader. Currently on maternity leave with her first baby. So July 1st, she will be starting in the Market Center. Me and her will be working hand in hand to get her up to speed on everything Market Center related. But yeah, anything that you'd like to add to that while I put you on the spot?
No. I'm excited. I'm excited to talk to all of you and meet all of you and see what your needs are, if there are any that aren't met or aren't, being able to respond quickly or things like that. Anything that we can do to improve. I talked to Renee earlier today. We have a couple things already kind of to bring up to Emily and Ryan and see if we can improve and see if there's anything else that we can do to help you guys further if you're not on a team. You're at the Market Center, so I'm definitely excited to meet all of you and talk to you.
She will also be taking over the launch coaching portion with the newer agents. So So now you'll have another person to go to for all the new agents. So me, Kevin, and Amanda will help you guide you through your first year in real estate. Welcome. And last but not least, like I had said in my video, if you listen to it on Facebook, the treats that are over there, so sourdough bread, we've got some sourdough cookies and some sourdough cinnamon rolls. So easiest gift and very people love it. Every client that I've ever ordered the bread or the cinnamon rolls for to bring to a closing, you can contact the Four Little Birds Bread Company. But instead of me talking about it, let me bring up one of the owners.
I'm just an employee.
Just an employee. His wife runs the company, and how did you come up with the name?
So we have 4 kids, 4 young kids, and we wanted to implement them into the business, so we coined 4 Little Birds. This is somewhat false advertising. We don't offer bagels yet, but they are.
Yeah, but it's everything but bagel.
But there's a bagel.
I know. I saw it too.
I keep like lobbying
It's
for
all right.
bagels.
What's that?
I said I keep lobbying for bagels, and
I
John
know.
told me that Kelly won't release bagels until they have the recipe perfected.
Yeah,
So I respect it.
Yeah, we've done a handful of test runs, and they're just not coming out the way that we'd like them to. But overall, we are a cottage baker. We bake everything at home. We both have over a decade of experience in the restaurant business, so we're like the health department in there. Everything's completely clean, sanitary. We take all the necessary protocols to keep the food safe. That is the menu for this coming week. My wife tends to kind of switch it around, bring in new flavors, swap out old flavors here and there as well. 99% of the ingredients we use are organic. Some of the things we just can't source, and it is listed. Every single item that you would order has the ingredients on it and whether or not it's organic, for those that truly are passionate about those things. The main reason why I'm here is to tell you guys that they make excellent closing gifts for clients. I've given them out to my last 7 or 8 closings, and people are just like super surprised and
Especially
excited.
if they're getting the keys at closing, because we all know, what does everyone eat when you eat something?
That used to be what I would do. I would have
Having
pizza
something-
delivered on their moving day. Yeah.
Having something a little different.
No, that's
Absolutely, yeah, and it is different too. And then when somebody eats something tasty and they think about who gave it to them, they'll remember you. And we're getting repeat business from it as well. So I've been telling my wife we're gonna try to work on something that could like brand the packaging to we could put your logo on it or your name or something along those lines to personalize it, so that it could be a more personal thing with your clients at closing.
How do they get in touch with you?
Yep, I was just gonna say.
Well, I thought
I was hoping for that. Yeah.
I thought Kelly's social media was on there, but she's
Over here on these cards.
Oh yeah, cards. There you go.
4 Little Birds on, or 4 Little Birds Bread Co. on the IG, and Kelly Sessi, S-E-S-I, on Facebook.
She's pretty active on social. She's always updating and posting the newest menu, any new things that we plan to roll out. And then if you ever wanted to learn how to make sourdough yourself, there's a little bit of sourdough education as well, which it's not easy, but once you learn how, it's very rewarding.
How long in advance would they need to put in an order?
Good question. So we would love a 48-hour notice because the majority of our products take 24 to 36 hours to ferment. We're a true sourdough. We don't use active yeast. We use an actual starter. So in order for the doughs to rise and to achieve the right flavor, we need about 36 hours. But 48 hours is typical. If you're in a pinch and you absolutely need something, we might be able to turn it around for you in 24 hours. But the longer the notice, the better for us.
And if people want to be, meanwhile, before you get your branding set up for everybody individually, it's so easy to design a sticker on Canva. And you can order the 2-inch stickers off Amazon and just print them off on a color printer, and they look really good. You can I do like a, thank you for your referrals thing on my envelopes. And it's cheap and it's easy and it looks, you can just stick your logo on there.
Absolutely. My wife did a little Mother's Day special back during Mother's Day, and she got this. It's actually an edible piece of I hate to call it material, but it's edible, and it said Mama on it, and it like, she baked it into the loaves, and it looked absolutely beautiful.
I think I saw that.
So we're working on trying to figure out other ways to customize those logos. Again, they could potentially be personalized to your brand or your team or whatever it is that you wanna put on the bread.
I'm just gonna completely biased opinions here because Jonathan's a friend of mine and I'm a frequent connoisseur. The bread lasted over 2 weeks. Most breads are going bad within a week or two. 2 weeks and I'm cutting it, it's still just as soft as the first day.
That jalapeno bread lasted me a weekend.
Yeah, right.
Let's just say that. I would walk by the jalapeno cheddar bread, and every time I would slice off a piece and just walk around the house eating it. So,
I think the cinnamon rolls are the absolute best.
yeah, the cinnamon rolls are fantastic. Our kids love them.
So good.
That's another thing that I would do too, is we were writing a lot of offers for buyers. Buyers kept losing. Buyers were getting, to the point to where the market's frustrating them. A pack of cinnamon rolls on your next showing to say, I'm sorry we keep losing on these offers. You know what I mean?
Eat a cinnamon roll.
I used to do crumble cookie. I'd order crumble cookie to their house, and but you show up at your next showing with a thing of these cinnamon rolls. Yeah, that goes a long way when buyers keep writing
Maybe
offers
send them
and
to
losing.
the person you're sending the offer to.
That's another one.
Right, true.
Yeah.
That's a federal fair housing violation.
Oh, I don't know how those guys are.
So Amanda asked about payment. We always prefer cash, but we have Venmo, Apple Cash, all the electronic payments for the most part. We're probably gonna do away with Venmo because they're about to, they're gonna start adding a 3% charge. And truthfully, when you, Venmo, and everybody's gonna eventually take follow that.
Yeah.
100%. And some people have a little bit of sticker shock about our products. Like if you hold a loaf of our bread, it's heavier
It
than
is
any
heavy,
loaf of bread that you can find in the grocery store. And again, we are sourcing more expensive ingredients through organic ingredients.
And it's made with love.
Just go try a cinnamon roll and tell me it ain't worth it. All right? Or
And
try
is
the
it
head
pick up
jalapeno
drop-off?
cheddar
We're gonna
loaf.
pick up feed
Yeah,
next
good
to the
question.
office?
So we live at Auburn and John R. People pick up directly from our house. I am in the office 3 or 4 days a week. I have no problem dropping off here for anybody who needs it. Our daughters dance at a studio in Sterling Heights, Hall Road in Shaner. We're there 3 to 5 days a week. We can also deliver there. And if
Shelby
you-
Township too, right?
well, that's Sterling Heights. Shelby's right across the street. But if you need something delivered somewhere a little bit out of that range, we will make it happen, although we prefer not to.
Yeah.
And if you guys aren't following sourdough, there is some serious medical studies coming out right now, especially in women's health, about the benefit of sourdough in your diet, especially if you're nursing. So I just thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, this isn't medical advice, but if you have a gluten intolerance, not necessarily an allergy,
It's like so
we have a handful of customers who have a gluten intolerance and they can still eat the bread with no problems. Again, because something through the fermentation process, the gluten structure is broken down and it's more digestible.
Cool. Thank you.
And then enjoy the treats, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, brothers.
That's it?
You said
Go
there's
get
no-
cinnamon rolls
no
before they're gone.
yeast in it?
I haven't tried
So,
the cookies before. So I
we do
can't
not
talk
add
about it, so-
active yeast, which
I've got yeast intolerance.
Yeah, I'm not knocking commercial sourdough, but they add active yeast to achieve the fermentation. So no, we do not add any yeast.
But is